Welcome everyone to the 90th Celebrity Synastry chart reading where I will be looking into Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. If you don't know me, hi, I'm Adeline and it is so nice to meet you. On this channel, I look at the dynamic between two celebrities using astrology. For those new returning, I take notes on a synastry chart looking at the personal planet signs aspects and if birth time is available house overlays. I share these notes and add my extra insights and interpretations along the way. So if that sounds good to you, subscribe and click the bell and let's get right into this one. Starting off with the sun, we have Taylor's sun in Sagittarius and Travis's sun in Libra. It's an enjoyable relationship and they prioritize their social life. Travis brings balance to Taylor's life and Taylor helps Travis have more fun. Travis's sun overlaid in Taylor's 11th house. There is a friendly atmosphere. Thus far, it does seem like to be a bit more on the sort of more light-hearted, more like sort of friendly, like laissez-faire sort of side of things. They accept their differences and flaws and they are not judgmental of each other. Relationship begins as friends or friends of benefits. I'm not actually aware of how they met. I know sort of like leading up to the meeting, I guess you could say, Travis seemed, I believe he was like a big fan of Taylor and was sort of, I guess you could say, like manifesting her into his life, but how they actually met, I'm not exactly sure. Hopefully we'll see a bit more. But I guess it's also not really surprising to see this because, as I said, thus far it seems to be quite lighthearted. Travis sees Taylor as someone he can spend time with. Taylor's sun conjunct Travis's moon. There's a powerful connection and there is a blending of goals. I mean, quite literally speaking, she was seen, supporting Travis at his football matches. So, literally being a support for him. Taylor plays a supportive role, which she did quite literally supporting him like a cheerleader at his football game. So quite literally seen doing that. Taylor tends to lead the relationship and initial attraction is felt by Travis, which is, I'm not surprised to see that. And I guess Taylor, leads the relationship when it comes to status and I'm sure financially speaking. Taylor's sun squares Travis's Mercury. They have similar problem solving and they don't always see eye to eye. There's a lack of emotional satisfaction and they challenge each other's perspectives. There's a contrast in temperament and life goals. I mean, definitely life goals. It's, as far as I know with Travis, like he's a football player and like that's it. Very different to what Taylor is doing. Obviously, I don't know these people personally, but from what you see, I guess in terms of like their reach, I guess you could say, Taylor seems to be quite like career heavy focused, very much wanting to continue to be at the sort of like top of the music industry. I'm not sure if Travis is very well regarded in football. I don't know anything about American football. But it definitely does not, I mean, I can't really say anything. I'm not in America, so maybe he's quite a big name in America for all I know. They find it difficult to discuss ideas and they both need to respect the other's differences. Travis sees Taylor as too self-centered. I mean, the only way I could see, if like her sort of life goal very much sort of like career focused, very much on her own brand, I guess you could say, like that seems to be the main priority in her life. Obviously she has had a lot of relationships, but it seems like at the end of the day, her branding and everything is very much the number one thing in her life, it seems like. Taylor sees Travis as too rational and emotionally detached. Travis's sun square Taylor's Mercury, so this is a repeated aspect, just inverted. So everything from before is further emphasized, but also Taylor sees Travis as too self-centered and Travis sees Taylor as too rational and emotionally detached. So, I mean, we did see in the beginning that they prioritize their social life. So potentially that is also like, you could also interpret that as they prioritize their own lives, their own independence. We'll hopefully see more as the reading goes on regarding that. But if they're both seeing each other as a bit more self-centered, I would have to assume they both maintain their independence quite well. So far, we haven't seen anything like sort of like deep attachment or anything like that. So makes sense. Travis's sun square Taylor's Jupiter. They have different values, so I assume where they don't really see eye to eye is those sort of different values, and I guess you could see this as what they value out of life as well. They may overindulge each other and excess is from good intention. There's a strong desire to make each other happy, and Taylor has the ability to cheer up Travis, so again, kind of stepping into that sort of, supportive role for Travis. They both may expect too much from the relationship. This kind of concerns me, considering what we, publicly know about this sort of meeting, particularly on Travis's end, because it's, if he expects too much from it, and hopefully we'll see a bit more, but I hope that it's not a matter of like his expectations were too high and it ends. They both encourage the other to self-indulge and be impractical. Travis's Sun square Taylor Saturn. Travis sacrifices his freedom, and Travis is too sensitive to criticism. This is potentially maybe in regards to maybe Taylor's fan base. They have the reputation for being a bit more cutthroat. I'm not sure maybe if they have anything to say about Travis, maybe in that way. Even outside of the fan base, Taylor has a pretty big sort of like outreach when it comes to things, a lot of public opinions, very famous. You could also potentially see this maybe, I don't know, if in Travis's community there is criticism about this. That's the only ways I could really see this going, but potentially we'll see more. Maybe Taylor's critical, we'll see more hopefully. They both attempt to support each other, which we have already seen this on Taylor's end, and Travis may outgrow Taylor. I'm not obsessed with seeing this, especially that we saw like both may expect too much from the relationship. Considering what we know, this seems to be more on Travis's end. So it kind of worries me. Maybe he feels like he expected too much and he's outgrown Taylor. They both feel mature and Taylor tends to be critical of Travis. Yeah, so potentially it is just Travis being quite sensitive to her criticism. Travis feels blocked and discouraged by Taylor. And Travis sees Taylor as all the traditions he wants to overcome. What traditions? They both need to really want this relationship to work. I mean, with what we are seeing so far in regards to this, all we have seen is they have a strong desire to make each other happy. So thus far it seems like they do, want to make it work. Travis's Sun square Taylor's Neptune. Misunderstandings occur and there are delusions and deceptions. They both glamorize each other and attraction is based on appearance. This is what concerns me, considering, I know I keep bringing, like, it seems like, Travis. In terms of expecting too much of the relationship, I keep mentioning Travis. But it seems like it pretty mutual thing. Like, we haven't seen anything to indicate more on Travis's end as such. They both may expect too much. They both glamorize each other. Attraction is based on appearance. So it seems like, I'm concerned. I guess you could say that's the best way. Taylor promises more than gives, and Travis believes Taylor is a soulmate. As I'm just saying, it seems like it's on both ends, not just Travis. Definitely leaning towards him. They both need to be clear about expectations, and Taylor eventually disappoints Travis. This is not something I really want to see, especially like covering this reading when they seem to be in the honeymoon stage. As far as I know, like nothing has sort of come out or anything like that, anything negative. So I'm not really liking that we're seeing a lot of deteriorating factors, a lot of specific deteriorating factors, like, expectations were too high and like Travis is getting like disappointed by the expectations he has. He's outgrowing Taylor. He's disappointed by her eventually. Now for the intermission. This video is brought to you by me, my Etsy store, Adeline the Astrologer. If you ever watch this and think, hey, I would like her to read my Synastry chart, well, I will. I do personalized Synastry readings on my Etsy store, both basic and detailed. The basic one is very simple to understand. It's not overwhelming at all. It's pretty good for those that are beginners to astrology, just getting the head around astrology, or just as a fun gift idea. The detailed one is just like what I do on my channel, just a lot of insight and interpretation on your chart. So if you are interested in that and everything else astrology and tarot related, readings and gifts, then definitely check out my Etsy store. Links are below. I'm always releasing new things, so definitely check it out if you're interested. You can even just favorite the store just to show your support for free. Thanks for listening, and let's get back to the reading. So now it's time for moon. We have Taylor's moon in Cancer and Travis's moon in Sagittarius. Travis is impatient with Taylor, and differences in emotion are frustrating. We did see that sort of like conflict they had earlier a bit, and the lack of emotional satisfaction they have. They don't always see eye to eye. So maybe that is in an emotional sense, and thus they don't really have a satisfying emotional connection. Travis may feel trapped by Taylor, and Taylor feels misunderstood by Travis. Travis often accidentally hurts Taylor's feelings. I mean, to be fair, I feel like it is kind of easy to do that. It seems like, I think, definitely in the public eye, it seems like, every little thing Taylor kind of, takes personally, takes it to an advantage in some way, makes it a big deal. So if that is something that is sort of bleeding through into her personal life and the actual, like, personal character, if that makes sense, it's not just like sort of a public thing, it's part of the brand. If that public shtick she does is something that is actually in her personal life, I'm not shocked. Travis's moon are overlaid in Taylor's first house. They both feel safe expressing their feelings, and Travis brings out a sensitive Taylor. Travis feels immediately safe with Taylor, and it's a tender and warm relationship. I don't doubt it. The longevity of it is concerning me. Taylor's moon square Travis's Mercury. It's emotionally challenging, and Taylor has a hard time getting Travis to listen. Interesting, because we were seeing earlier how he's pretty sensitive to criticism. Maybe they both are just a bit more sensitive when it comes to like things people say, maybe. Hopefully we'll see a bit more. Taylor feels Travis doesn't value her opinions or respect her intellectually. I mean, because we did see, the whole attraction is based on appearance thing and the whole glamorization of each other, but also delusions and deception. It worries me that Travis potentially kind of sort of like fell in love with like the image of Taylor rather than sort of like who she genuinely is, and that is why he's disappointed and eventually seems like he's withdrawing. So this is worrying. Travis feels Taylor is too sensitive to criticism. So yeah, I mean, we did see that he often accidentally hurts her feelings. So it seems like a mutual thing, I guess. Travis feels frustrated with Taylor, and they both need to learn to listen. Honestly, I know it's weird to be like, not really, but I feel like it's not a matter of needing to learn to listen. I feel like needing to learn to listen and not necessarily be offended, sort of try see it objectively maybe. Taylor's moon are opposite Travis's Saturn, attracted to the other because of their different views. I never like seeing this, especially when we're seeing that like differences could be a problem. Like if this is the only thing we saw when it comes to like any difference indicators, great, perfect. But the fact we saw earlier that there is sort of like conflict when it comes to values and views, they both have something the other needs, and Travis tries to influence Taylor. It's a difficult emotional connection. We keep seeing this is emotionally challenging. I don't like it. Travis sees Taylor as needy and immature, and Taylor needs to be more independent from Travis. Really? Taylor's moon are opposite Travis's Uranus. Taylor feels insecure with Travis's unpredictable behavior. What does he do? I'm very curious. Travis subconsciously sees Taylor as a parent. Ew, I don't really like seeing this, especially when like we're seeing he seems to sort of like glamorize Taylor, and that is why he wants to be with her and all of that. Like, unstable marriage or long term, it's not promising from what we have seen in this reading. It's an unusual meeting. Again, we haven't seen anything else when it comes to meetings besides like they started off as like friends or friends with benefits. Having that initial sort of like very casual, like the beginning part of the relationship potentially could have started more casual. But this is the only thing we have seen when it comes to meaning. Hopefully we'll see a bit more. Travis is not interested in emotional closeness like Taylor. Oh, I mean, this goes back to like how Travis sees her as more like needy and immature. Maybe that's why their sort of like emotional relationship is quite like challenging. Maybe Taylor wants that emotional closeness, but Travis interprets that as like her being a bit needy. And again, I'm thinking back of like the point of Taylor doesn't feel like she's respected intellectually by Travis. The way I'm reading it so far, considering everything we have seen, he seems to be more into like the sort of an image of Taylor, if that makes sense, like rather than like the human being behind her. I don't know if that's the best wording for it, but that's, I guess, the way I'm sort of like seeing it. Like, it's sort of like he wants the sort of like, you know, poster, the sort of image, the model, the sort of statue, but not actually interested with like who it is behind it, if that makes sense. Relationship can begin and end suddenly. I mean, it didn't really begin suddenly, did it? As far as from what I remember, there was a bit of like talk before they actually got together in terms of like, you know, Travis was like interested in Taylor. I believe so. I could have been interpreting that wrong and very wrong all over the place with how I received that information. But yeah, from what I remember, it didn't necessarily begin super suddenly. Maybe it did. But yeah, that is there. So potentially might end suddenly. So now it's time for Mercury. I have Taylor's Mercury in Capricorn and Travis's Mercury in Virgo. These are both earth signs. They prioritize practical daily matters. It seems like the priority is sort of on their own independence, like over anything else. The relationship can get stale easily and they accomplish goals together, and they both tend to neglect their relationship. I'm not shocked, particularly on Travis's end. He's neglecting the relationship emotionally, it seems like, definitely. Travis's Mercury overlaid in Taylor's 10th house. It's hard to talk about things outside of goals and career. Yeah, it kind of seems like it that way, especially if like their relationship is quite public and they're very out there. It's sort of like part of their brand now. They're a public couple and Taylor may be fascinated by Travis. Taylor tends to idealize Travis. I'm kind of glad that we're seeing this a bit more on both ends rather than just Travis. It's possibly a one-sided